Good morning, Year 2. Welcome to your English lesson. My name is Miss Flaherty. I'll be teaching your lesson today and a couple more in the next couple of weeks, and I'll be checking your work later on today. So let's get going while I share my screen. Brilliant. So today our lesson is on adverbs. So if you'd like to now pause your video, you can talk to somebody nearby or write some ideas down on a piece of paper. What can you remember about adverbs? What are adverbs and what else can you remember about them? Okay, so just a minute to pause the video and have a go at doing that. Off you go. Brilliant. Okay, so hopefully you've had an opportunity to do that. So adverbs are words which describe are doing words. So adverbs describe actions, okay, or verbs. Right, so our first activity this morning is to fill the gaps. So at the bottom of the screen here, you will see some adverbs. And if you read through each sentence, okay, pause the video and decide which adverb you think makes the most sense in that sentence. Off you go. Okay, so hopefully you've had an opportunity to do that, and we will now go through. So, the snail moved blank through the field. The snail moved blank through the field. Okay, so if we have a look at our adverbs at the bottom here, we've got to try and think of what adverb makes the most sense in that sentence. Okay, so we have to think about how we know snails move. So I know that snails move slowly, so I'm going to put slowly in my blank there. Okay, so that makes the most sense, I think. So well done if you put slowly. Okay, so next we have blank. The girl screamed as loud as she could. Blank, the girl screamed as loud as she could. So if she's screaming as loud as she could, it's not going to be silently, okay, because you can't scream loudly and silently at the same time. So if you put suddenly, that is fantastic. Suddenly, the girl screamed as loud as she could. Okay, and our next one says, blank, I tiptoed downstairs. Blank, I tiptoed downstairs. So if you put silently, that is brilliant. Okay, and that leaves us with fly gracefully across the cornfield. So we might remember that line from our poem. And gracefully means to do an action very carefully, very neatly, very beautifully, okay? Fantastic. So our learning objective this morning is to use adverbs. And to help us with our learning, we are going to use our success criteria in steps today. So our first step is I can identify adverbs. Okay, so that's what we've just been doing. We've been looking at what adverbs are. Our next step is to use adverbs correctly, and then I can use more exciting adverbs correctly. So it's really important when we're going through our work that we check that it makes sense. So does our adverb make sense how we are describing our doing word? Our next activity is true or false. So if you would like to read the sentences and decide if you think they are true or false, you can again discuss this with someone or write it down, pause the video and just have a think. Okay, so just do that for a minute as well and we'll get going. Excellent. So our first sentence says, adverbs are words which describe how we do things. Adverbs are words which describe how we do things. Is that true or false? The answer is true. Adverbs describe when, how, and how often things are done. Okay, so we might describe somebody as working later, they might be working well, or they might always work well. So there we have always and well as our adverbs because they both describe how something is done, okay? Our next sentence says adverbs must always end in ly. Adverbs must always end in ly. Is that true or false? Okay, so the answer is actually false. Okay, because you can describe somebody as running fast, being loud, or like we've just said, working well. Okay, so our adverb describes how something is done. That doesn't always have to end in ly. Okay, so our next statement, our next sentence says words which end in ly are always adverbs. Is that true or false? Words which end in ly are always adverbs. The answer is false. So an object could be described as lovely. And we know objects, words which describe objects are, can you remember? They are adjectives. Okay, so words which describe objects are adjectives, so not adverbs. Excellent. So your activity this morning, your assignment, is to go through and make bold the words which you think are the correct adverbs. So we have, for example, question 1 says, which adverb makes sense for describing how you would run to the hilltops? So put that sentence in your head and think, okay, run to the hilltops, run quick to the hilltops, run fastly to the hilltops, run quickly to the hilltops, run slowly to the hilltops. Which one makes sense? Which one makes the most sense? When you've picked your word, just make it bold, or if you'd like to, you can also print off that sheet of paper from Microsoft Teams and circle it and just take a picture of it and send it to year2@thepalmeracademy.com. Okay, so you should spend about 20 minutes on that activity. Make sure that you take a break at the end, have a stretch, have a drink of water, and if you have some time, you can move on to your stretch task. So here you are thinking of more exciting adverbs. So for example, we've got race fast to the sea. How could we make that have more of an impact? How could we make our writing have more of an impact? We could have race quickly, race speedily, race swiftly, and then it's over to you to have a think of some more exciting words, some more exciting adverbs. And finally, our last slide of this morning is an adverb cloud. So this is just a couple of ideas, a couple of more exciting adverbs that you can use. Okay, you might like to use this later on when you in the week when you come to writing your pieces or your poems, or you can use it today. So these adverbs might come up today. So you might like to use a dictionary and thesaurus to work out what they mean, to work out some words, some more exciting words, or you can use the internet. It's completely up to you how you do your tasks this morning. Okay, so when you've done that, just submit it onto Teams and good luck. I look forward to seeing your work.